So now that we've got those out of the way, let's take a closer look at the home builder content layout. Again, what is, if you are a home builder, how should your website be laid out? So Diana, before we jump into that, any thoughts from you on going through these items?
Now I'm taking notes so that I'll be prepared to answer. So one click away, photos, mobile optimizations, and fast loading.
You are so right. So let's start with home building. And let's take a look at an example here of a website. So you can see here, obviously, having a high quality, high resolution, professional photo, proper lighting, proper angles. And you can see this website is utilizing full screen imagery, so I'm going full size. It really makes a huge impression, especially for those higher end homes. Even if you're not building higher end homes, it just makes a big impression. It's an emotional attachment. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, is what percentage of the sales already completed before the lead ever talks to you. So in this case, we're going to look at some of the key things that a home building lead is looking for. So we talked about number one, what are those must-haves? So one click to get to the most important information. So in this case, this builder builds lakeshore homes. They have custom homes, and then they have innovative homes, which is their semi-custom series. So if I'm a lakeshore buyer, I got one click. Custom home buyer, one click. Versus if I want a semi-custom home, I have one click to go. We're going to open up the menu here. Now you'll see these same three things on the top of the menu because we know those are the most visited pages. Now we need to get into, okay, what else does my lead want to see? Remember, the first question was, I want to see, what can my home look like? So as an example here, I can go in and I can look at our innovative series, and here's where I will find floor plans. So I have all my different floor plans here, and you'll see kind of what we would suggest when it comes to a floor plan is, again, getting the square footage on there, total finished feet, basement finished footage, all call to actions. We'll talk about those in the lead capture. Then I want to make sure I have a photo gallery. If I built the home before, that's ideal. And obviously the floor plans themselves. I like colorized floor plans. It's easier for leads to understand. And this is simply colorized between storage areas versus sleeping areas versus living areas versus recreation areas. It's as simple as that. If I go into the custom side of things, custom homes don't have floor plans, but I've still broken them down. I'm going to put a design statement on here, kind of details. What was this? So 6,400 square foot home. We have a call to action here for updated pricing, but same, had a professional photographer go in and take photos of this home. So now my leads can go through there. So this is really what we're looking for, is for inspiration. We're looking for that emotional connection for that lead to say, I like this. Because once you get an emotional hook, the next step is you start the relationship. So floor plans, two different ideas there between custom and semi-custom, where you're showing an actual floor plan versus where you're just showing a completed home and a photo gallery to go with that. Now, the third item would be locations. So again, I go one click to my locations page. This particular builder is building in neighborhoods. So they actually have locations here by community, different neighborhoods, and then they break it down here some more. There's also a map that clearly shows the different locations that they are building, where they are in relation to the larger metropolitan area. So now a lead can clearly see, yes, this is the location I want to be in. This builder does build in this location, and now I can actually go and try to find land or a lot. If you're a custom builder and you don't build in specific neighborhoods, this is an example here. We'll look at locations page. This is where you would just simply itemize the different locations by city, and then put a map here that you build. So this client here is building around Salt Lake City, Utah. So you don't have lots in all these locations, but they do get into teardowns and shows people again where we do and do not build. All right, so that's pretty much the must-have content as it relates to custom builders.